Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Slowly but surely we are uploading these videos for you guys. I appreciate your guys' patience. My name is Maku.
Kobayashi.
And today we're actually going to combine, just for our benefit, it's going to be episode 19 and 20. And also, there's not much more we're going to input on 19, right, Kobayashi? I mean, there's not much more we got to say about it. Realistically speaking, it's only just Bachira's backstory. So go ahead and take it out, Kobayashi.
Yeah, so in the beginning of 19, we basically see Isagi's team to choose who they want to pick.
Yeah, and remember, this was also from like a prequel from last episode. We saw that they were gonna pick someone from their team, and well, this is where we ended up seeing that it ended up being Chigiri.
Because, like we mentioned before in the previous episodes, Baru wanted Kunigami, Nagi wanted Rio, but Isagi came to the final decision. He's like, in order for us to have this crazy chemical reaction link-up play,
The Devour link-up play, that's
Yeah.
what they're calling it, I guess.
And so basically they chose Chigiri because it fits perfectly for that chaos.
Yeah, because they wanted, I guess Isagi wanted something that neither of them have. So obviously Chigiri is the only one that possesses something that Nagi doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Nagi went over there to comfort Rio, say, I actually was meaning to pick you. And then he ended up saying, no, don't comfort me. I don't need your pity. Basically saying that, right?
And then Loki, Nagi, I kind of like this from Nagi. He kind of snapped back at Rio.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just said, all right, fuck you too then, and just ended up leaving.
Yeah. And then I like Loki, Isagi, he dropped one of the coldest lines. He's like, you gotta be the one who gets picked, not chosen. Or
Yeah.
I forget what he said. But.
Yeah, something along those lines. I mean, it's just really cold from Nagi, which is something that I kind of was like expecting at this point, because I'm like, this dude Rio is being really like childish, saying, you didn't pick me, you didn't pick me. I said this in previous episodes.
I didn't expect that from Nagi, because Nagi's like a laid back type guy.
No, but I mean, it's about being like very egotistical and very like selfish. So at one point he is going to snap, just like everyone else. So he ended up snapping, and it's something that I was anticipating for a while now. But I mean, pretty much that's it for like the first half, I'm being quite honest. And then the second half, go ahead and take it off.
Yeah, it's pretty much Bachira's backstory. So it's Bachira as a kid. As a kid, he even developed like his imaginary friend, his mom likes to call him, but like the monster.
Yeah.
Inside of him.
And obviously, we all know who the monster portrays itself as, because Bachira always mentioned that, oh, you also know this monster too. And then Isagi never knew what he meant, but obviously Bachira knew what he was talking about, because he's developed this since he was a kid. So, I mean, then we also have him just playing like normal football. He said, oh, you just gotta have fun. And then the other kids were just punking him around.
Yeah, so but Bachira was very like lonely as a kid, because the other kids would just like call him a weirdo.
Yeah.
Or they would just say, you need to pass the ball more, you're being too selfish. But no one really understood Bachira. And Bachira actually felt lonely. He actually wanted to quit soccer, I want to say, at one time. But his mom told him to keep at it, because that's what he loves to do. So one day, Bachira got the letter from Blue Lock, and him and his mom read it. And he took the opportunity. His mom's like, hopefully you find a friend that has the same passion with you, so you can share how...
Yeah, so share the same passion they both have for football. I mean, clearly you saw from the first episode, because it ended up backtracking from like the first episode, and it showed how the monster finally found its host, I want to say.
Yeah, so yeah, from what I got, the monster that Bachira always sees ended up becoming like Isagi.
Yeah.
And that's what I came. I'm pretty sure most people thought the same thing.
They thought of the same conclusion, I would imagine.
If not, you need to like go
read
back
more
to,
anime. Yeah. I mean, it's just something.
It's not even just anime. Just you need to go back to like 8th or like even 6th grade or something like that. Comprehension level is too low. Either way.
I mean, either way, guys, that's pretty much the episode. This first part.
There's one funny part that I want to say. It was like towards the end. Well, actually, there's two parts. So at the end, Isagi went to Rin and Bachira's place and like formally challenged them. And obviously, they accepted the challenge.
Yeah.
And Bachira like hyped up, because he's like, I knew it, Isagi. I knew you will come through. And then another funny part that I want to mention. It was Nagi, who's really into like what football player is like him. So they're finding YouTube videos of him, and then they basically made a big mess of the room. And then Baru came back. He's like, "Man, what are you guys doing?"
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess that's something also I'll mention as well. Baru, to some degree at least, he respects Isagi now.
Oh yeah.
So that's actually another important thing that came out of the episode. Sorry for like forgetting that, but I mean, like I said, this episode is like totally like brushed over pretty much. You know what I mean? So yeah, they were both talking in the cafeteria, and then Baru ended up like just talking. They were just both conversating, and the conclusion is that they both respect each other now. Baru to some degree.
All right, so now moving on to episode 20 is basically the start of the final match, the 4v4.
Yeah.
So at first they all decided who they're gonna match up against. So the matchups is basically the number 3 guy, the strong buff physical guy.
Yeah.
He's going against Baru, which I find very funny because they're similar, but at the same time they're opposites.
No, they're similar in sense of like their physical capabilities, but when it comes mentally, they're total opposites.
Personality-wise, yeah.
They are polar opposites.
And then, actually, the first matchup was the Glam guy and Chigiri, because the Glam guy intruded Chigiri's personal space and starts like filling out his hair. He's like, "Wow, I've never seen this hair fine like mine."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, bro, you gotta back off."
Yeah.
And then so that's another matchup. And then Nagi, I kind of saw this happening. Nagi, he took the initiative
to take on Ryo.
Yeah, no, to Rin.
Rin, yeah, my bad.
And then it ended up being Isagi matching up against Bachira.
Yeah.
So I find that I low-key think Bachira's gonna win that matchup. Because I don't know, Bachira offensively, he's just really good, like dribbling wise. But as a team though, they were covering Isagi, which I'll explain right here. So kickoff starts, Bachira starts doing a bunch of like fast stepovers. But he also notices like Chigiri covering him, Nagi covering him. So they were all covering Isagi. And I believe...
So yeah, I mean, Isagi was basically hinting towards where he wants Bachira to go. So at this point, Bachira said, "Alright, I'll just play your game." And he ended up going through that area.
To a degree, because then once he was dribbling, Baru from behind Bachira stole the ball. And then they were all like competing. And then Bachira noticed, he's like, they're not playing as a team, they're just playing individually, but it just works somehow. And Lucky Bachira is like, man, I wish I was part of this team.
Yeah.
In a way. So
at this point in the match, it's going to be 1-0, right? So then, I mean, directly off kickoff, what ends up happening is Bachira ends up just scanning the field and does a no-look pass to the Glam guy. We really need to figure out these guys' names. But the Glam guy, and he ends up, obviously, you guys remember, he has this crazy reach.
The Glam guy, by the way, his name is Ryu. Go ahead.
Oh, Ryu? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's the name.
Oh, okay. So, well, now that I know the information, Ryu ends up, you guys remember from like the first time they ended up versing each other, this guy has crazy reach. And then even Chigiri ended up saying, wow, that reach is practically cheating.
Yeah.